Greetings, gents, and welcome to episode 26 of Econoclasm. Holy shit, it's been 3 weeks. Sorry for the sporadic posting schedule. Like I said a few episodes ago, I tend to do this only when I drink, and my access to alcohol is as sporadic as my posting. So, here we are. This one, thankfully, coincided with some booze, is a pretty important topic to talk about. We got no script on this one, so we're just rolling freestyle. Trump has decided to cover up all the Epstein shit. And I remember, Trump ran in 2016 on a big thing of drain the swamp. I'm going to drain the swamp when I get in. Well, he didn't in his first term, and he sure as hell isn't in the second term. If anything, he is building walls around the swamp to protect anything from happening to said swamp. He's doing whatever he can to protect people within the swamp. He's filled his cabinet both terms with the swamp. And even if you say that he didn't, this time around, well, the swamp is certainly on his side, or is, the swamp has infiltrated his cabinet, rather. You have Kash Patel, who is the director of the FBI, who is saying the exact same thing that you probably would have James Comey saying if he were still director of the FBI. And, I voted for Trump back in November, mostly because Kamala was just that awful. It wasn't so much that, I liked Trump, or that I thought he was good, or, oh, maybe this time he'll be decent, but it was just Kamala is awful. And I still think Kamala would have been horrible. The world might not be here right now if Kamala was president, although St. Michael the Archangel probably would have stepped in, I'm sure. But that doesn't mean that Trump can get away with what he's doing, or he gets a pass on how awful he is just because someone else would have been worse. Because arguably, millions of Americans would be worse than any of the recent presidents, and then we can't criticize anyone unless the most evil person gets in office, in which case that's probably Obama. So aside from Obama, you can't criticize any president, I guess. Maybe John McCain, but thank God brain cancer took him out. Shout out cancer. It's not always evil. But yes, Trump and his administration have decided to cover up the entire Epstein situation. His FBI director and deputy FBI director have come out and said, it was a while ago, they said, oh no, he's definitely killed, Epstein definitely killed himself. I've seen the evidence, he killed himself, just trust me, just believe whatever I say, ignore all the facts that go completely to the counter, Epstein killed himself. And then his AG, and again, Kash Patel, again, why do we have Indians in charge of anything? I don't know, they shouldn't be in this country, but anyone who calls a customer service hotline knows what I'm talking about. But that's how it is. Kash Patel, the AG, both said basically that, oh, well, there's no client list for Epstein. We don't have one, so we can't release anything because there's nothing to release. Even though Pam Bondi said that there was a client list on her desk that was to be reviewed. And then she changed it and was like, well, the files were to be reviewed, not the client list. Sure. Does anyone actually believe that? Anyone with any sense of intelligence whatsoever? Because I really don't think anyone should, but the administration has decided to close the investigation on Epstein. They just say, oh, yes, he did kill himself. There's no client list. There's no more further to look into this. Epstein was raping kids himself, but he wasn't trafficking them to many high-power people in the country. using them to blackmail anything. Nope, that's the end of the story. What you know already. is, well, what the government has told you already is what the story is. There's nothing beyond that. The obvious situation beyond it, that doesn't exist. Just take things as we tell you they are and move on. Because, if you are living in 2025 and you still trust the government, especially the American government, you are fucking retarded. And the world would be better off without you in it, really. But that's neither here nor there, I suppose. But I lost my train of thought. There's a meme, that meme persisted for the longest time, the whole Epstein didn't kill himself, because every single person alive knew that Epstein didn't kill himself. It was without clear evidence of Epstein being killed, it was the most well-known murder in human history. That it was a murder and not suicide. Even my mother, who has, pays zero attention to politics, who has zero knowledge of things going on in the world, she even knew that Epstein didn't kill himself. But now we're to trust Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, Donald Trump that, oh no, he actually did kill himself. Just trust us, he killed himself, there's nothing more to look at, just ignore everything, move on with your lives, and forget it all. Anyone who's going to believe that is dumb as shit. Every single human being alive, people who never even heard of Jeffrey Epstein, know that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. But now we're being told, it was a bit ago, but Kash Patel and whatever that one bald motherfucker, the assistant director or whatever the fuck his name is, Dan Bongino or whatever, some WAP name, just trust them that, oh no, we looked at the information, he killed himself. Sure. The least believable suicide in human history. Let's trust that. The people that Trump put in clearly are lying, covering things up, or just the dumbest fucking humans alive. It's one of those. There's no way a single human being alive can genuinely believe that Epstein killed himself unless you are the most deranged and willing to believe whatever the state tells you. If you actually believe that Epstein killed himself, there is something seriously wrong with you, and you are genuinely just taking whatever the federal government says as gospel. More serious than gospel. You just have to believe. I've seen people say, oh, there's actually a pretty good reason to believe that Epstein killed himself. Fuck you. How dumb and retarded are you to actually believe that? Seriously. Genuinely. It is a very, very dumb position to hold. I think it is more reasonable to believe that JFK's head just did that than that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. There was no conspiracy around JFK. Even Lee Harvey Oswald didn't shoot him. JFK's head just decided to explode out of nowhere. That's more reasonable than the belief that Epstein killed himself. But here's Trump defending it all. Saying, he definitely did. There's nothing to talk about. When Trump was asked about it, he's like, oh, why are people still talking about Epstein? That was years ago. Are you fucking kidding me? Look, your government comes out the day before and says, oh yeah, by the way, there's absolutely nothing going on here with Epstein. We're moving past it all. And then when someone asks you about it, you say, why are people still talking about it? Even though you on the campaign trail said you were going to release this information. Fuck, Trump is the most pathetic and retarded president we've had in years. At least the previous presidents could come up with a lie. Even Joe Biden, in his retarded dementia state, could lie. But Trump says, oh, why are we even still talking about this? Gee, Mr. President, because you said you were going to come out and fucking do something about this, and then yesterday your administration decided to cover it up, and then you're going to come out and say, why are people still talking about this? Fuck, was his mouth too full of fucking Bibi Netanyahu's cock to fucking come up with a real response and say anything of substance? It's fucking insane. And again, since there's no script on this, we're going to be bouncing around a bit, but remember when Elon, about a month ago, came out and said that Trump was on the Epstein list? Does it make a bit more sense now? Isn't it a bit more believable? Because Trump come out and just said, oh, Epstein didn't kill himself. There's no reason to keep talking about this. The investigation is closed. Let's move on. It does seem a bit more believable after this that Trump might be on the Epstein list. I mean, we have video of Epstein and Trump talking and laughing together. I plan for that to be the thumbnail of this video. I hope it goes through and works. Again, I don't have the thing set up yet, but when the episode comes out, it should be that. And not the AI image of them together, but the actual video. The actual image is going to be a screenshot, but of the video of Trump and Epstein together. But it does lend a lot more credence to the idea that Trump was on the Epstein list. And I know people said, well, why would Elon let his son around Trump if he knew Trump was on the Epstein list? Well, most of the time Elon's son was around Trump was at the White House, which is the most secure location probably on the planet. You know, maybe the Pentagon and Kremlin pass it, although, throwback, the Pentagon was full of people trading child porn with each other, so maybe it wasn't secure. But, although they probably had no problem with that. As we know, the seat of the power is very fond of Satan and pedophilia, as we can see with Epstein. You know, the people in power love raping kids, so no surprise there. But it was mostly at the White House, so I don't think Elon had anything to worry about. And Epstein tended to go or have girls who were like tween to teen age. And Elon's son is a young boy. And I know I've talked about this, I don't know if on the podcast, but in regards to the sex abuse in the Catholic Church. When people say, oh, the only reason priests go after boys is because boys don't talk about it. Look, I don't care how fucking horny I am. I'm not fucking a boy, a young 5-year-old boy. So I can't imagine someone being at Epstein's Island automatically means they're going to fuck any child under the age of 18. Boy, girl, anywhere from 0 to 18. And who knows when Elon learned it, but it's not an inherent guarantee that, oh, you had sex with a teenage girl on Epstein's Island. That means you're willing to rape any child under the age of 18, boy or girl. Now, I don't know for a fact that Trump is on Epstein's list, but there's real reason to believe it when Elon said it, and now Trump is doing exactly what a president who was on Epstein's list would be doing. Biden didn't even do this. Biden didn't shut down the investigation and say, oh yeah, he killed himself. There's no reason to look any further into this. Biden, the man who we know is a rapist, the man we know is a pedophile, the man who chased after children at the White House Easter celebration. He didn't even do it. But Trump is, so a bit suspicious. Props to most of the right-wingers, MAGA supporters, Trump supporters who are coming out and talking shit on Trump and calling him out for this. It's at least some honesty. and willing to hold the person you voted for accountable for what they said when they were campaigning. It's more than I've seen out of most of the left. You know, they were perfectly okay with Biden being a pedophile or rapist. I remember seeing people say, so what if Biden is a rapist? He's still better than Trump. Because, you know, as the saying goes, if the left had no double standards, they'd have no standards. But I have weirdly seen people still find a way to defend Trump or just try to do their mental gymnastics and 4D chess bullshit with this. I saw someone a few days ago be like, well, it made sense that there would be no client list, and the government probably, you know, the deep state probably would have destroyed most of the evidence before Trump got in power, so yeah, this makes perfect sense. And then today I saw that same person come out and say, oh, well, actually the investigation is still going, so you owe Trump an apology for if you came out against him after what he said about Epstein. Bull fucking shit. How fucking insanely deranged do you have to be to just do anything you can to defend Trump and prioritize, well, how can I spin this to be pro-Trump? Like, this is what Trump derangement syndrome is on the right. It's just doing whatever you can to defend Trump and say that Trump is essentially impervious to any problem, that he is basically a god king that can do no wrong. I don't know how the fuck people are so insanely pro-Trump and act like he is Jesus reincarnate, that he is infallible in every single action he does and word he says. Oh, well, Trump's deported fewer people than any president in recent history aside from Joe Biden, so he's really on our side and we have to support him for whatever he does. Give me a fucking break. It's insane. The man who leads the Make America Great Again movement, that he has decided actually means Make Israel Great Again. And if you try to criticize him or disagree with him, he says, well, I came up with this movement, so whatever I says goes. So if making Israel great and prioritizing Israel first means America first and make America great again, well, that's what it means. How are you still defending this person? This vile human who is just wholly against the ideals of the United States, against the idea of America first. How are you still doing everything you can to deep throat Trump so bad that his fucking pubes are tickling your nostrils? What the fuck are you still doing? It is such severe intellectual dishonesty and cognitive dissonance that you don't prioritize any of your ideals. You only prioritize, oh, I gotta defend Trump above all else. Why? Oh, well, the left's crazy against Trump, so clearly I have to be for Trump. Well, how about this? The man who said he was going to drain the swamp for years has done jack shit to do it, has filled his cabinets with the swamp, and is defending or is closing the investigation on the person who had blackmail on the majority of the swamp. How about the idea that he's controlled opposition? That seems a lot easier to believe than all this 4D chess and mental gymnastics bullshit. That, oh, I saw someone say, oh, well, you know, Trump is not releasing the Epstein information because he's using it as blackmail against the deep state to do his America First agenda. The American First agenda that is actually Israel First, where he's not actually doing America First. He's doing jack shit to help America First. Oh, he's doing a few deportations that are nothing compared to what have been done in the past. He's doing a few tax cuts, but he's still letting in, you know, millions of foreigners. His tariffs, which are retarded economic policy that anyone with a basic understanding of economics will tell you is a bad idea. Oh, well, Trump ran a business. Congratulations. Running a business doesn't give you understanding of economics. If you think that, lobotomize yourself and never vote again. But, oh, well, Trump's blackmailing the deep state to let him do his... No, the fuck he isn't. You think this guy is that smart or that intelligent or that powerful? No. He understands real estate. Most people are experts in one field. Trump's is real estate. But a lot of people are fucking dumb. And Trump is. But if we want to go on the controlled opposition angle, even though I just said, Trump's fucking stupid, but I'm still more so the controlled opposition angle. People will want to say, oh, well, if Trump was on the Epstein list, well, why didn't the Biden administration release him? Because he's controlled opposition, you fucking idiots. Remember when Trump's run and people, all these celebrities and politicians would come out saying, oh, he's racist and hateful and evil. I was like, oh, these people had no problem with Trump for decades when he was with them, but now he's running for president, and now they're against him. They have no fucking logic to understand. Gee, maybe Trump was with him for decades, and he's still with them the past decade. You ever think of that? Apparently these Trumpers fucking can't. Well, Trump just decided to switch a switch in his brain, and now he's completely opposed to all these people he was with for years. And now he's all rah, pro-America, do what America wants, do what's best for the people. It takes a lot less mental gymnastics to think that Trump is just still with the people he's been with for decades prior to running for president. It's not a difficult concept. He's done nothing to drain the swamp. He's defending the swamp here. He's fucking thrown out the investigation against the swamp. Also, real quick, I said earlier, mentally at least, I was going to say this. Fuck Abraham Lincoln. He can go fuck himself. Completely irrelevant, but I wanted to say that because I said I was going to say it. Fuck you, Lincoln. John Wilkes Booth did a good thing. John Wilkes Booth necessarily wasn't a good guy, but he did a good thing by capping Lincoln in the head. Anyway. Well, why is Trump so villainized and demonized, and anyone who supports Trump is so hated if Trump's, not fighting the deep state? Maybe because the deep state is trying to divide America? So that you fight each other rather than it? How about you look at the fucking policies Trump has supported? Rather than, oh, well, they're mean to him on the state-run media. How about the fact that Trump has done jack shit against the deep state in his 4.5 years as president? If he's going for the deep state, he's fucking awful at it. If you are fully on Trump's side and says that he's really fighting the deep state, he's a fucking retarded moron because he can't do jack fucking shit against them and constantly sides with them and defends them. So if you're the most hardcore Trumper who says he's genuinely a crusader against the deep state, you have to recognize that he's a fucking idiot. There's no other, what, you think he's actually fighting the deep state by doing everything they want, by siding with the foreign wars of Israel? He just struck Somalia again yesterday. Great. He's threatened to bomb Moscow and Beijing. Gee, that's great for, peace in the world. Oh, what? He's cut a few taxes, and he hasn't gone to, or he's deported a small number of people. Nothing compared to Obama, Bush, or Clinton. Fucking fantastic. Oh, yeah. Very good. That's all clap. Because he's done jack shit for America first or against the deep state. Are you fucking stupid? No, of course you are. Because you're on the right. And you have Trump derangement syndrome. Anyone with Trump derangement syndrome is stupid. Now, there's people who oppose Trump and support Trump who aren't stupid. But those of you on both sides who have Trump derangement syndrome on the left who's, on the left, Trump could literally fly up to space on his own sheer will and destroy an asteroid meteor or whatever that's going to wipe out life on Earth with a punch, and you'd still find a way to criticize him. Or on the right, if Trump went on national TV, butchered and ate a baby on live TV, you'd still find a way to defend him. That's what Trump derangement syndrome is. And what I've seen in the past few days is Trump derangement sentiment on the right. Just finding a justification to defend his position on Epstein. Or just somehow say, oh, well, yeah, it makes perfect sense that there would be nothing. And, oh, well, by the way, there's actually still an investigation going. You owe Trump an apology. You're fucking idiotic. Holy fuck, how are you still white-pilling in this situation? The Trump administration gave right-wing influencers binders with a list on it. In it, rather. Let me correct myself. Oh, here's the list. We're reviewing the list. We're going to release a list. Oh, there was no fucking list. You have to be genuinely stupid. Look, when I talk politics, or religion, or really anything, I try to avoid insulting people's intelligence or saying you're stupid for having this position or that position. Because I've held a lot of positions I'm opposed to in the past, and I understand how people can arrive at them. But if you're an adult, and your position is just whatever the Trump's administration position is, you're fucking stupid. Because they're just constantly flipping their position, goalposts moving, and lying every few months. Well, whatever the administration says is what the truth is. Oh, Mr. Trump, please give me a cum shot on the back of my throat, because that's all you can fucking understand. Either Trump is the most retarded man alive, believable, is on the Epstein list, believable, or a third thing that I completely forgot about, believable when I remember it. The one thing he's not is some grand master of 4D chess, blah, 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 to save America from the deep state. Completely misled by the deep state. That was the third thing. Probably. How do you side with Trump in all this? Like, I don't understand it. You have to have Trump derangement syndrome. There's no other explanation for it. And yes, it does exist on both the left and the right. He is... I mean, him and his administration are just... And look, they're just covering up the story. I can't believe it took me fucking 28 minutes to get to this part. But like I said, I didn't write a fucking script, because I'm just drinking. But... they released footage to be like, oh, well, here's footage to prove that Epstein didn't kill himself. There's no one wanting to sell. Oh, by the way, just completely ignore the minute missing footage. Like, an entire minute is just fucking gone from the footage. Oh, well, that happens every night. Yeah, fucking believable. Or if you know it happens every night, that's when someone fucking went in to kill him. I have to say this unequivocally. If you genuinely believe Jeffrey Epstein killed himself in that cell, please, for the love of God, go out right now and get yourself neutered, because the world does not need your genes going forward. And please, never fucking vote again. We don't need you involved in the world. You don't need to propagate. You don't need to make decisions. You don't need to contribute to society. You are that fucking unintelligent. I would rather someone with Down syndrome who's had a lobotomy and a railroad spike driven through their head contribute to society than fucking you. Epstein didn't kill himself. And the Trump administration is covering up everything about Epstein. I can't. I've said this like 6 times, I feel like, in this podcast, but I can't understand how anyone has any other position. If you think that you genuinely have Trump derangement syndrome, yeah, I've said that multiple times. I've been criticized for saying the same thing multiple times in an episode, but like, that's a point I really need to hammer home. You're fucking insane. And then the Trump administration comes out and makes a post, most transparent administration in history. I mean, in theory, I suppose it could be. But like a day or two after you came out and covered up arguably the worst scandal in American history, fuck off? Like, that's perhaps the nicest way I can put that. Fuck off? Go fuck yourself? I hope you all get severe, aggressive cancer and AIDS at the same time in your last days, or incredibly painful? I don't fucking know. It's perhaps the nicest way I can put it. Most transparent administration in history. While we cover up for the child rape reign, where most of the powerful people in the country are involved. Sure. Most transparent in history. And somehow retards believe it. People on the right with Trump derangement syndrome believe it. Because they've got Trump's cock so far in their throat that all they can see is his stomach. And they can't see anything else. I don't know, or just keep repeating the same fucking 5 things I've said this whole podcast, I guess. Jeffrey Epstein did not kill himself. If you believe he did, you're an idiot. If you're defending the Trump administration's cover-up, you're a retard. And this is just further proof that Trump and his administration continue to play ball with the deep state. And they're never going to do anything seriously pro-America or in favor of the people of the United States. And you need to fucking understand that. Or else the deep state is just going to keep fucking fooling you for decades to come. Because if you're falling for this, you'll fall for fucking anything. Anyway, fuck Trump. Fuck this administration. Epstein didn't kill himself. We are ruled by pedophiles who take their orders from Satan. Perhaps one of the most profound things I ever saw was a comment. I can't find it now, but someone said, growing up is understanding why Iran called the United States the Great Satan. And this is a perfect example of that. It's a perfect example of why the American government is first or second jostling with Israel for the most evil government on the planet today. And I will end this podcast with a statement I have said many times, especially online, but I don't think yet on this podcast. But it's something I wholeheartedly believe. Let me defend that a bit. Death I ended the recording and realized America. I'll be a bit more to it. A country is its government. And the country of America is this administration and this deep state. And you may say, oh, well, a country is actually its people. The people who defend the enforcers of the government. On the right, you have people who worship the police and military. On the left, you have people who worship the federal law enforcement, the FBI, the CIA. Are there really anyone who genuinely believes in America anymore? Like the ideals of the revolution? Fuck, I wanted to do an episode on the 4th about the ideals of America. But I decided to push it off till next year. So next year, watch for that. But when I say death to America, I mean it in the sense of what is modern America. I made this post online 16 days ago. And I said, quote, do I have to quote myself? I'm just going to read it. To be patriotic of the United States is to deeply understand the founding and history of this country. But learning of the perversion, corruption, and betrayal of the founding ideals of this nation by nearly all who serve it and wave its flag is to hate the modern United States. And yes, the people who are proudly patriotic, who wave its flag, who serve the modern United States, are completely antithetical to the ideals of the United States, the ideals of liberty, limited government, and resistance against the enforcers of the state, the law enforcement, the military, the standing military, opposition to a standing military. But, or the ideals of human freedom. So when I say death to America, I mean it as what America is in 2025. It is nothing related to the America in 1776. America was betrayed in 1783 with the U.S. Constitution, which was a massive power grab by the Federalists to expand the power of the federal government. Alexander Hamilton fully deserved to die. And thank God for Aaron Burr for fucking shooting him and killing him all those years ago. Because America was freed by one of the worst people to ever influence American government. Hamilton deserved to be shot. He was perhaps the greatest traitor of the American Revolution, even more so than Benedict Arnold, who would have never betrayed if Congress and fucking Horatio Gates had given him just a little bit of the fuck is the word I'm looking for? Like, not credibility. Props, I guess, for what he did. It's also proof to why, women kind of ruin everything. And why you don't date a woman who's been with a man before. Because Arnold's wife was not a trustworthy or respectable woman, but, how it goes. But yes, the modern America is even worse than Great Britain in 1775, when the revolution kicked off. And so when I say death to America, not obviously, because people are dumb, but I mean what America has been for a long time, especially the modern state of America. So once again, Epstein didn't kill himself. And death to America.